Hello friends, it is Link the Gulf Coast Gardener. Today is Sunday, November the 12th, and I haven't done a garden tour in a while because, well, there's not that much to talk about, but I do have a few things going on, so let's go take a look at what we're up to in the middle of November. I have a few plants that are left over from the summer. I've added a few plants, but by and large, I've been direct seeding over the last few weeks. Now, just in the last couple of days, I tried this. This is something new. I direct seeded Hummingbird Heaven flower mix. I get that from Botanical Interest, and it looks amazing. So you plant it in the fall, and you just kind of let it sit, and the plant should start germinating, and hopefully I'll have a beautiful flower garden here in the spring and into the summer. Now, if I need the space for vegetables or other things, I can always dig those plants up and transplant them into pots or move them into other spaces. But I'm really excited to see how this large planting of flowers is going to go. And I did something similar over here. I basically just direct seeded a whole bunch of dill. The variety is Leafy Diana. The seeds are kind of old, and dill's kind of persnickety to germinate anyway, so I don't have high hopes, but you know, if I get a handful of dill plants out of that, that's all that I really need. Now, this is strictly wishful thinking. This is one of the last tomatoes that I had grown. I had a few tomatoes left over from the summer, and so I just stuck this one in the bed. It's actually doing really well. So I don't know if I'm going to get any fruit out of it, but this is one of those patio choice cherry tomatoes, and I had a bumper crop of them. So fingers crossed I will get some fall tomatoes. If the freezes hold off until, say, February, I might get lucky. Now down here, these are romaine lettuces. I just picked up a 6-pack from Home Depot, and as you can see, they're doing really well. I've been clipping off the outer leaves and having fresh lettuce lately on a daily basis. Now, if you can see that tells me that I've got worms on here, and I've already picked off a bunch of those little green worms. You gotta keep an eye on your greens in the fall, and just pick those guys off and smush them. So anyway, lettuce is doing quite well. Now down at this end, I direct seeded this lettuce back in the middle of October, about a month ago. This is Nancy Butterhead lettuce. I forget where I bought the seed. I think from Johnny's, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks really good, and I've got a nice coverage here. I will admit I did transplant some of these to get the nice coverage. I seeded them. They didn't all come in very uniform, but lettuce are pretty forgiving. You can just kind of dig them up when they're small and move them around, and hopefully this plastic shield will keep the wind off of them, because a lot of times the winter winds and the late fall winds will just blast my lettuce to the ground. So we'll see. Hopefully those guys will get established and we'll get some nice Butterhead lettuce. Now over here, this is one of my favorite things to grow. This is cilantro, and this is Cruiser is the variety. I also get that at Johnny's Selected Seeds. And cilantro is one of the things that will survive almost any weather in winter. When we were in Poland for a few weeks last year, and there was a pretty hard freeze while we were gone. When we came back, the only thing still standing was a cilantro. It didn't mind the freeze whatsoever. So this thing will be solid cilantro in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I love growing a large amount of cilantro. Now here's some more flowers that I'm seeding in the fall. These are smooth blue asters. This is a perennial that is tough down to zone 5. It is one of the most attractive flowers to pollinators and bees. So smooth blue aster, they germinate really well. This thing will be full of plants by the spring. I'll probably just dig them all up and transplant them or sell them or move them to other spots in the yard. But I've got the space, so it's an easy way to get some seed started without too much muss and fuss. Now over on this side, this is my favorite variety of lettuce. You can see I've got this spread out all through this bed. This is Salad Bowl by Botanical Interests, and it's a nice mixture of various kinds of lettuce. It's doing really well. This is one of those cut and come again lettuces. You just kind of cut it off as much as you need, and then it'll grow back 3 or 4 times until it's time to dig it under. So Salad Bowl from Botanical Interests, fantastic. Now this is about the only thing left over from the summer. These are 3 jalapeno peppers, and they're actually covered in peppers. So you can see down there, there's peppers all over these plants. So hopefully they'll hang in there for a while longer. If I need peppers, here they are. And I've got another tomato out here. Honestly, I'm not sure what variety this is. This is a Volunteer. It popped up and it started doing really well, so I put a cage on it. And then I've got shields all around this. I'm trying to protect the lettuce and the peppers and the tomato from the winds, and this works pretty well. I get these plastic sheets from Lowe's, and then you just use various bamboo and metal things to prop them up around the edge. It kind of makes a little greenhouse without a roof, but it does keep the wind, the heaviest winds off of your plants, which is really what they need. Now back here in this birdie's raised bed, as you can see, I've got more of that romaine lettuce doing really well. Another tomato. This is also a patio choice. This is the red or the yellow, I forget. I've got one of each, but the plants look really good. I hope I get some fall tomatoes. That would be so much fun. And then back over on this side, this is another flower bed. This is called Grandmother's Cut Flower Collection or something along those lines. It's another cut flower mixture from Botanical Interests, which you plant in the fall, and then hopefully I'll get a ton of flowers in the spring. If they're doing really well, I'll just leave them here. Otherwise, I may dig them up and pot them up and move them. But anyway, I'm trying this out. I've never really planted flower seeds or perennial seeds in the fall before, and left them over winter to see what happens. But so that's part of this experiment as well. And I do have one more bed over here. I've got another tomato plant in here. Now this is a dwarf tomato. The plants don't get huge. They're basically a cross between a determinate and an indeterminate. I just love the plants. I would almost grow these plants just because they're beautiful. They're stocky, they're beautiful, the beautiful green potato leaves, and the tomatoes are just out of this world. They're basically heirloom flavor. I doubt I'm gonna get any tomatoes off this plant. I'm almost just growing this plant because I had an extra plant and I thought I would stick it in the space. I'm probably gonna pop some more cilantro down around the edges here. If I pan over this way, you'll see that I've got some 6-packs of cilantro. I'll pop those out, spread them around the garden, so I'll have plenty of cilantro starting in the next, 6 weeks or so. Well, that's a look from the garden. Not too much going on, but some things are. So anyway, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And please have yourself a fantastic day.